Hi everyone. Today is 25th of Feb, last week of this month. Month was tough, as we know. It was tough, but not shockingly, surprisingly bad. Only for those who started in February, for them, yes. But those who started early in December or even January, it's not that bad at this moment. First of all, if you see 12 hours BTC, um, what I'll do, I'll just put you on mute for now until we open Q&A. Okay. Right. So if you look at this is BTC, we'll start with 12 hours and then we'll go on the higher end or higher side. Okay. So this is very tricky pattern. However, if you remember last week, I said I'll be surprised if it breaks out from here. That was my statement. And I had the zigzag line and then said it will break out somewhere here. Instead, it went down and broke this support. However, it is way, it's far away from support two, which is kind of a risk level. So it is far from risk level at this moment. It hasn't broken even this low. So this pattern, you may say this is little digression than the original pattern, but not as deep. And if you look at this trend line is also actually making sense because this is more like an expanding pattern with this down wick as an exception. So this is a tricky pattern, but I can understand what it is doing. This is a resistor. So this is a support which I called S1B because this is more like an extension of one. And still, as I said, it's above S2 where and this low, so there's nothing to think about crash or nothing to think about that this rally is over. Okay, and this is very important message I wanted to convey today. Okay, if there is any change or in behavior, I'll let you know. And you know that why it happened. There were a couple of economics data which were not so bullish in terms of like indicating that the Fed would continue hiking rate. Now hiking rate is a mix expectation. Not everybody was expecting they'll pause, but so it's not a shocking news. However, what they are, the market, when I said they means the market is expecting more rate hikes, and that's why there's some nervousness for sure. And we could see that the reflection in DXY. So we can have a quick look at DXY and we'll come back to BTC because last week's movement is purely or solely driven by DXY. So it's very interesting that last week, BTC didn't follow DXY. And last week it followed DXY. So it's very tricky. And that's why we will refer DXY, but it's not the ultimate guide. Okay, it's not that you look at DXY and try to interpret what BTC might do because last week, this was the high on my screen when the month opened, and then during the month, middle of the month, it made new high, technically speaking. So when DXY was actually going up, which we will see in a minute, BTC made new high. So this is very interesting point. So until January, everything like DXY was going down, BTC was rising, right? Starting from December, and January was like full bull mode, like full, amazing pump. And starting February, when DXY started moving up, BTC reacted, but not, it didn't go down. It went down in middle of the month, right? And only for few days, and then it made new highs. So see what is happening is DXY is our guide, but what I'm seeing is BTC is showing extreme strength, like resilience. So it's not under control of DXY. We can say that. Of course, it has influence, and we saw last week, but it is not making a move which is threatening at this moment. right? As I mentioned, it made new high, and this drop is also not a new low at this moment. So there is absolutely no reason for worry. Now, when you talk about alts coin, like other coins, they are always vulnerable in terms of uh, percentage movement. I mean, they can move up for 20%, 30%, 40%, depends. That's for sure. But BTC is our guide because BTC sets the direction. So alts are crazy. If they go down today for 20%, they could recover tomorrow by 20% move on the upside. So their percentage movement is not so important. So those who are dealing only with alts, they need to remember that it is possible that they will get stop out often if the stop is very close. And it is very important that BTC is required in that portfolio for stability. And this weekly call is super important for that reason, because you are like a navigator who is moving in one direction where there are going to be big waves in between, like during your journey. If you have alts are like small boats, they could topple, okay, easily. But BTC is like a giant boat. You need to have them. So you can ride alts, but without ignoring BTC. So risk management is tough when you deal with alts. So, but if you don't have like high percentage exposure, then your risk is lower, your volatility is lower. Simple example is, if any alt dropped by 20%, but if that alt is just 10% of your portfolio, then your that impact of this alt is only 2%. You see, so your risk can be minimized, or the volatility can be smoothened or reduced if the percentage of alts is lower in proportion. Okay, so I'm sure you're taking care, but I'm happy to answer. I would like you to question in Q&A if you have, and so I can help you in I can share my view on other aspects other than TA, right? I'll try my best to help you in that. So it's so important, because TA is one thing, but how you manage the position, how you manage, like what all you compose, like how you compose your portfolio, also equally important, right? If someone is just after pump and dump coin, that person is remain very busy and very vulnerable in a way. So there are a few things I would like to reiterate. So it's always good to remind that when the market corrects, they lose a lot if they are not planning well in terms of size, and BTC like coin provides the stability. Okay, so that's why this is important, right? So coming back to the earlier point, that this drop is not so severe at this moment. Yeah, if it breaks below S2, then I think it's a point of concern, because then the correction could go deeper, and then we'll see. At this moment, it's not happening, so there is no need to worry about this at this moment. And as soon as BTC starts moving up from this support, alls are going to recover. And coming back to DXY, the DXY next week move is important because it is also near resistance, as I updated. Let me do one thing. I think I haven't updated my this particular chart. So let me do one thing. I had in a different layout. So I'll copy paste. Give me a minute. You should see it now. So this is DXY. If you look at this bounce, it started from February 2nd. This is 1 day time frame. So until that, it was going down. And BTC didn't go down right from this moment. It held up. Only middle of the month, when this with this move, it actually BTC went down, right? And and this particular move was strong. If you look at the daily move, like this is like 0.65% or some, yeah, 0.65% move. So it was really, really strong. And it is following resistance. If you look at it reacted at R1, retraced, got support, bounce, and got resistance here, dipped a little bit, and then made move. Went to R2, then got support at R1, and another retry, little pushback, but not much, and then breakout. Now it's approaching R3. This is very important because if it keeps on moving in this direction, then BTC would be in pressure, under pressure for sure. Because until now, this is not a level on a weekly time frame which is threatening in my point of view. R3 is very important, but if it breaks above R3, and goes towards this one, then it could bring down BTC and of course all the altcoin as well in that case. So coming next week, like starting next week, is very important for us to see how it. But as right now, there is no need to assume things. Never assume. So this looks strong, but you never know. Next week starts and it might start going down. It might touch R3. It is very close. It might touch R3 and then goes down. So I think that is something we'll come to know when it opens. Right. So this DXY, but yeah, the BTC. So, but if you look at whole entire month, what you're seeing, this is amazing move from DXY, and if you go back to BTC. So if you look at Jan closing, so this is January closing, right? So that was around 23,800, and right now it is 22,900. Or maybe we can say 2,300. So there's not much of a difference, right? If so, it's not proportionally moving on the opposite direction. That's my point. If DXY went up by 5% plus 5.5%, we can say that BTC on an average basis, because this is low, this is high, and this is in mid, on an average basis from a month point of view, it didn't lose its level. And that's why I'm saying that BTC is showing strength and resilience, which is so encouraging and so positive, right? If next week things change, we'll see. But at this moment, and so far this month, there is nothing to worry about it. And this retracement is not killing. This is here halfway through the week. So this is not killing. Okay, so this is not a threat at this moment. Yeah, if it breaks below S2, then we have to be concerned, because then this is critical low. And still there is some space. So it's not going to die unless it breaks below this, as I mentioned last week as well, from different scenario. So this week I will not repeat what I covered, because in last week I covered many scenarios, including bearish scenarios. So you may refer last week's video if you want, right? Otherwise, but for now, there's nothing to worry. But coming next week, I'll keep you posted. So wait for my update, right? But right now, there's absolutely no need to assume about negative move or crash or new low. There's no need. Okay. In fact, it could recover from here, right? This looks a support. It's consolidating near support. So but it requires more bounce. So this bounce is not good enough. This is like it has stopped, and it's trying to trying to consolidate, but consolidation near support is something not enough. What we want is, if it has to break over S1. So 23,500 on an average, approximately that number will give us that confidence that now it wants to go up and follow this green arrow. So what is positive at this moment from today's point of view, that it has stopped here. It didn't make new low, right? Yesterday's low, this is today's low, no new low. That is positive, and it is showing bounce, nothing major though, but some bounce. And now rest of the day and over this weekend, what we have to see, if it can break above S1, right, and stay, not just spike but stay. If we get a day close above S1 around 23,000, 500 would be good level, round number. Then it would be very encouraging. So if it starts with that coming next week, right, then it will be very, very positive, right? So that's my take on BTC. We can have a quick look at weekly BTC. Yeah. This is the pattern. Yeah. Okay. So from this low, um, this is the path we are expecting, and then breakout. So this box was added, which is upper boundary. This is lower boundary. And if you look at this retracement, is more, still more. So if you think this is zero, this is 100%. So this is not even 25%. If this is halfway, this is 25%. This is like 15-20%. So this retracement is very small from that point of view. So there is absolutely no need. If you look, so there are different ways you can look into the same chart. So I'm showing you different perspective now, that how you may measure, right? So from this consolidation box point of view, this retracement is nothing but 20%, less than 20% maybe. So absolutely no need, right? Because why I'm emphasizing on risk, because it's not about next higher level. Majority of the people think about next higher level, and my thinking is very different. It's like our health. If we are not sick, we are healthy. You know what I'm saying? If we are not coughing, if we don't have fever, we say we are healthy. So similarly, so in health, we don't see it. So if we don't have fear, that means there is no risk of being, getting ill, or something major. So right now there is no fear, there is no risk, there's at this moment. So why do worry? And if we are healthy, we don't think that, okay, somebody can run for 1 mile, somebody can run for 10 miles. That's not a point. Point is, you're healthy, you can do your job, right? Similarly, if the chart is healthy, chart can go up by 10%, 20%, 30%. It is not important. What is important, whether the chart is healthy or not. I think this point is missed out by many traders, and they try to focus on resistance target too much. And my message is, okay, those are important, but those are not super important. What is the most important is whether the chart is healthy, whether the trend is healthy, whether the direction is up. Is there any risk? Right? These are the right question. These are the valid question, which will give you the confidence. Because if as you know, as I said, from our personal health point of view, if you are healthy, tomorrow is going to be good, and you will be able to do your job. So if BTC is healthy now, then it will do well tomorrow. Why to worry about resistance? Always focus whether it's weakening, is threatening. If not, enjoy. And it might take time for you to understand this, but one day when you understand that, you will realize that this is the biggest thing in trading, and this is so important for work-life balance, like work means trading and your other activity is point of view. Because when you do swing trading, you focus on health. Swing trading is trend trading. It's called swing trading because there is a swing, like a wave, with swings from low to swing high. We say it's swing low to swing high, right? So it depends on how you define the wave, right? For example, For example, March 20 was the low, but when it is low, you cannot say the swing started or trend started. Only after at certain height we can say the trend started, because if I hide this, there is no way, we can say that it will go to 64K. Yeah, one can speculate. When people speculate any number, they were talking about 100K, it didn't happen. So talking about some number is not important. But when it makes some certain low number, then at certain height we call out that now it is going to go up, right? So around 9,000 plus, we said this is building up a new trend. There's no, people were so bearish here. I still remember they were talking about 1K when it was going down from here. It didn't happen. They were so bearish here is as well. It didn't happen. And it ended up with 64, 65K level ultimately, right? So when you are here at a low, you cannot figure out that this is building a new trend. No, there is no way. One can speculate, but there is no way we can confirm it. Okay. So similarly, but the swing trader focuses that, okay, now I'm riding. Let's say I enter somewhere here, if not here, somewhere here on a nice bounce. And then when there is cluster, when there is correction, the question is being asked, is it going down? Is it trying to make new low? Answer is no, means we're good. Next junction, drop. This is like similar situation. Is it a new low? Answer is no. What to worry? Why to worry? Then breaks out, and so on, so on, and so on. And then one point in time, it exhausted, and TA can figure out that it's exhausted. Any good TA can figure out it's exhausted. And we figured it out, exhausted, we called out top. And we'll call out again in future. That's not a problem. Nobody will be surprised here and there. Not absolute top, but there won't be any surprise. That not like people talking about 100K and it went down. It will never happen, because the method we use, the approach we have, because we are not dreamers. We don't look far. So that's the point. We can think about different scenario, long-term scenario, but analysis should be on present, always on present, or maximum for a week. In reality is, no matter how good TA you are, nobody is able to see the future. That's a fact. And that's why everybody has to see and assess every other day as from a TA point of view and say, is it good? Is it good today? Good today? Good today? If answer is yes, 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 that means it's continuing. But then answer is no. Is it good today? No. If tomorrow answer is good, is it good today? No, 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 no. That means something is wrong. And that's how trend is analyzed. You know what I'm saying? So every week you will get that yes, no answer. And those who are smart among you, I'm not trying to criticize those who are not doing the swing trading. What I'm saying is, if you're not doing swing trading, you're missing something big. Something big. And nobody's teaching that with this detail what you get here. In fact, the whole opportunity channel started on swing trading. Most of the signal channels are short-term, you know, like Trident feature, R1, R2, R3, S1, S2, S3, like that. Okay, not bad. That's a different flavor. But what I'm offering here is kind of unique. Not many TA or platform offers this. So what I'm insisting that you take advantage of this, because what you have paid, actually, this is where you get the most. Okay. And this is for long term. Okay. And you will see that once the wave starts, and the kind of enjoyment, the kind of freedom that you feel is unimaginable. Imagine if you have not taken at 4K, that's fine. You taken at 6K, that's okay. Even if you have taken 9K, and imagine you're sitting at 50K, do you really think that today it's down, tomorrow it's down? Would you be worried at all? And the answer is no. Why? Because you entered at 9K. Why you would worry for this correction? Why would you worry on this correction or in between? You are not worried. Even this correction up to 35 will not be a problem for you, because you entered so early and you're sitting on profit. But you can do only if you have understood the game, if you have shown patience and understood the trend, understood what I'm saying, then only you can enjoy. Not in the beginning. Beginning, it's seeding. Seeding is very challenging. Like not all seed turn into tree. You want fruits, you have to wait for that seed to become tree. Then you will really enjoy it. Okay. So anyways, it's not that this is the only method, but this method is so good because once you are profitable, you can pay attention to in other part of your life and enjoy other aspects of life, not just everyday's trading. That's my point. So now coming back to the present, right now, this was the low, and this could be the low, this could be the ultimate bottom for this particular bear trend, right? Of course, we cannot confirm it yet, but this is like 3K level, 4K level. If I compare with the previous one, this is more like 6K level, and somewhere there will be like a 9K level. You know what I'm saying? 32K level. And so see, if I enter here, not panicked and sold and held up, you saw one higher level. If you're not panicked here, and if this bounces and goes for 28K, 32K level, then you feel so good about it that I'm riding the wave. And just imagine if it shoots up above 32K and continue moving upside. Can you imagine how much, what will be your state of mind? Can you imagine how much relaxed you will become? It doesn't mean you will stop coming to this call, but what I'm trying to say, that's where the fun starts. Okay. So I would like everybody on this platform in that kind of pleasure, in that kind of relaxed mood. And that's why I'm putting so much effort in explaining this. Okay. So I hope I'm making sense. I hope it will change your you will like this approach and make difference to your planning. So I'm here to help. Right. So I think on this topic, that's it for now. And in fact, from a BTC point of view, what we would like to see is to break about this. And of course, there's going to be further more resistance. We'll see, but that's how it is at this moment. Yeah, this is weekly. The month is ending, so we'll have a quick look at monthly. Right, monthly is not so different. Let's look at from a without drawing to see what it's trying to do. This month is flat, as I mentioned on a previous 12 hours to 1 day time frame, that DXY went up over 5.5%, BTC is flat. See, so what? There's absolutely nothing to worry. Okay, and that's so important. Nothing to worry means it's good. Okay, it didn't pump like last month, so what? Not every month is going to pump, right? Like when in this bull run also, there were a couple of months where it didn't pump. It happens. So what? Right. But this kind of understanding is so important, and that's the real learning in my point of view. Okay, so I think I'll end here BTC, and then what else? We'll quick have a quick look at the odds and see what they're doing. Okay. Not bad, right? Not bad. Atom is here. Still no new low from our last week's point of view. Not bad. AVAX, same story. Got rejected from the orange. Not a problem. No new low. All right. BNB is still not so okay. Like when I say not okay, it's not crashing, but it's not in its original mood. So, but it's not horrible. It's not that horrible. Not like last week. So it's okay. Doge is showing move today, which is interesting. So you know that Doge is not participating. It is like kind of a silent for last 6 weeks, 7 weeks. It has been moving sideways. If you take this low, this high, This is your median line. And kind of, it is moving sideways for last 6 weeks or so. Correct? But you never know. Yeah. Each and every coin has its own. So direction wise, they have specific direction to, like, with respect to BTC, but their moves on upside or downside is independent. So there is some freedom, right? It's like you have 12 notes. You can the different songs, but there is what the 12 note octave of 12 note is the limit. That kind of a thing. So you cannot predict the sequence. Different coins would have their own sequence. Right. So Doge is silent, but you never know. Maybe the next week is the Doge week, who knows? And then makes a big move. Right? So that is there. DOT rejected at orange, not a surprise, but this is not a threat, as you could see. It's way above last week's low. EGLD again, a very strong position, especially last week was amazing. And yeah, it's still making progress. I mean, you can, in this case, maybe it will align with this line. Yeah, you can clearly see this is consolidation phase. This is a recovery phase, right? Like they had bottom, some made new bottom in January. Most of them made bottom in December and so on, right? But more or less in that range. And then this is like a bottoming out process. So this is not bottom. This is bottoming out process. This is recovery process, right? Okay, ETH again, not a problem. Not bad. File retrace, but supported orange. It had this was actually, you may say this was deep, but to me, this was, it's always relative, right? It's always relative. If there is another weekly drop like this, then it's bad. This is not bad, right? Yeah, he consolidated here. Amazing breakout. On this one, I don't know why it's not showing, but I shared 9.5. I posted 9.5. I'm not sure why it is not here, but I posted 9.5. So at least you were made aware that there was one interim resistance at 9.5. I think I updated on Alts swing that channel. I think so. So at least there is no surprise. 9.5. Yeah. And yeah, it came down to this level, which is not a problem. You have to look at the wave from its entire, and not just specific week, to understand what it's really doing. So in a way, this is opportunity, right? Not financial advice, but this is like buy the dip kind of a scenario, because the trend is not broken. And then any correction when the trend is not broken is opportunity, right? FTM, it's interesting. This is whole entire consolidation with R2, then R1 consolidating support, retry to break up R1, retraced. So this whole entire range is consolidation range, not a problem. Matic reacted at R2 makes sense, supported at R1 makes sense. So now, as I said, not financial advice, but when it retraces and stops at support like this, or when a BTC has support, it offers opportunity. People are panicked. There's no need to be panicked. This is opportunity. Of course, one cannot no excitement. There should not be an excitement that this is it. all in and all those kind of a thing. No, one has to plan that, okay, let me, I can average it out, fine, but if it continue going down, then I had to pull out. So that kind of mindset is required, because when you enter at a support, not supports are not like a security. It's not like a guarantee. It's always support is support, right? Support means defense. It doesn't mean that it's a victory. It's defense. There's an attack. A support is offering defense, right? So support might end up with victory. Who knows? But you cannot say it's always a victory. So support is opportunity because it's defending there. Right? And if the bounce starts and bounce again becomes recovery where it reaches, let's say in the case of Matic, here if it starts bouncing and goes back to R2, right? That means it's victory. That's how it is. So when it's defending, it's opportunity. But if the defense is broken, then it's a risk. It's so simple. You have to understand. Similarly, when it touches resistance, it's risk. Why? Because resistance is where resistance is not road. Resistance is not like end of the road. You know, resistance is like hump, bump, a checkpoint. You can define in different terms. If you're driving, resistance means it's a bad patch, or you may imagine as traffic jam. Whatever way you want to imagine, it's so. But if there's major damage to the road, or road is closed for it for a week or 2 weeks, it's possible. If there's a big giant tree fall, it may, the road is not good for a few days. So what kind of damage? So bad is the resistance tells you that how much time it may take. I mean, you cannot predict that. But I'm just giving an example. If you're driving and if there's just a, let's say some water, you go slow and it will just cross. So resistance means some kind of hurdle. But if there's a giant tree, it's not going to clear up in matter of minutes or hours. It may take a day or two or a little more, depends, right? So in that case, you have to either wait, or in a real example, and then if there's only one road, because here it's only one road, not. But point is, in that case, it consolidates, wait, and then once the resistance is clear, you continue your journey. But if the resistance is so big, whether really something major happened, flood happened, road is totally broken, it's not unusable. There was a bridge. Imagine there was a bridge and bridge is broken. What can we do? That can be total reversal in that case, where you have to really detour when, so you have to go south again for a few days, and after 3 weeks, and that's bad trend we call. And ultimately, when the bridge is restored, then there is continuity. Then somebody say, hey, the bridge is restored, come back. So then from south to north journey resumes. I'm just trying to give analogy, a driving analogy, just to make it more visual. So that kind of a thing. So resistance is like, and nobody can say this resistance is the resistance of just like simple, like water logging, like puddle or fallen tree or broken bridge. You cannot figure it out. However, behavior near that resistance, in a week or two, you will figure out. That's how it is entering in TN. So this resistance could be the broken bridge, or it could be simply a puddle. You cannot figure out now, but how it behaves will tell you. So that's how we interpret. Okay. And so there is no need to panic at resistance, because resistance is just a checkpoint. Sometimes it's simple, like what you slow down your car, it's just a puddle, and then you just move on. So that is like consolidation near resistance for some time, and then it moves on. You move on. It's like that. So resistance, there are different behavior where it consolidates near resistance and then resumes on the upside, or it retraces and then comes back and then continues. or it could be a reversal where it go deeper really and create a trend on the downside and ultimately goes up, right? After weeks or months, whatever. So these are the typical scenarios. So resistance trading is also fine, but the point is not necessarily that resistance is the last resistance. That's why the swing trading comes in play. Okay, so the sand retraced, supported, not an issue. SOL still in the box, nothing much. Amazing recovery bounce, but for last 5 weeks, 6 weeks, it's doing nothing on an average basis, doing nothing. So yeah, it might do something in coming days. We never know, right? So far so good. That's positive. FET FET down by 10%, but in a big scheme, this is nothing because first of all, it's a green weekly candle. What else? Most of the coins are with red. This is weekly green, still green. So not an issue, right? No, it's not even near to the previous week's low and so on. Perfectly all right. MINA did well when we posted, but now it's broken support. So what I'm not going to add support to in this case. I'm going to keep it as it is. So in other words, you can say this coin went up and then went down and broke below support. But as soon as it's above support, which is $1, we can say it's ready, right? Um, Otherwise, I can draw a line here, last week's low, but not necessary. I would just simply say um, today it's not ready at this moment. It has to break above support, then it's ready. RNDR is still above support, which is good. Again, this was added, it went up, and then part of the game. There's no, there's no, this is not individual. I mean, this particular move that you see in this week is not about a coin. Remember, this is a market level event. So all the coins have corrected. So you cannot blame some coin corrected by 10%, some more or less, whatever. It's so this particular correction is not coin oriented. Everything corrected. What you are going to see, what you should observe, in fact, is okay, which coin held up or which coin didn't move much, because then you will find out the resilience. Again, it's not that next correction it will do the same, but at least over time you will know that every time there is correction, this coin doesn't go down much. At least you will notice. As a trader, that is your homework. That okay, this week so and so coins, I mean, in your list went down, but what percentage of? And then that will tell you that uh, which one is more vulnerable in your portfolio. It's so important. This is your homework. You have to do this because then you focus on something which is holding up value. When the next correction comes, hopefully that coin performs the same way, and then your portfolio will be more robust. So APT is still in correction. It broke the support. Like as I said, I'll not give another support, but when this support is broken on the upside, when it bounces, we can say it's again back in the game. These are newly added coins. Same story with this one, because right after it, when we added, it went up, but this week everything went down. So can't help in that case. That's the case. So I think with this, I'm done with the updates on the coins as well. I'll stop the recording. I hope you got a good understanding and on a price action. Maybe we can have a quick look at treasury, which I haven't covered. This is dangerous because it followed the yellow, also broken this resistance and really moving up. This is also resistance actually, which I found this week. Another one we'll have to see next week. But because this thing is little- if this rates are keep on going, that means the Fed this is proportional to Fed's decision. And if they go up, means the in general the interest rates go up. In general, the borrowing becomes expensive, and when the borrowing expensive, the value of dollar goes up. Because if you look at the supply of dollar has reduced. In fact, the supply is rate is in negative last month. So the supply is going down. The money supply, the fiat supply is going down. So in a way, it's deflationary for a few months. That's why dollar is stronger. It's so interesting. Here is the fun part. We know that BTC is deflationary, right? Because it has fixed quantity, and in future there will be lesser Bitcoin. But it is not. It goes down when the market goes down. So the narrative that people like BTC, hardcore BTC, um, those people misguide the community as if it's going to go up forever. Not necessarily. It is going to have cycles like any other asset. It would go through 80, 90%, whatever percentage of correction. So but and you never know in future what will happen, right? So we'll see. The fiat supply is going down, and that's why dollar is stronger comparatively compared to other currencies. Because other bank like ECB is so lazy. They're not raising interest rate high enough or fast enough. And dollar index has six currencies. 65% weightage is of euro has 65% weightage out of six currencies. So what is happening is the euro is actually driving dollar index. In other words, so this is more about weakness of euro. If you want to actually understand more, this is not just about dollar getting stronger. It is also because the euro is weakening. If Europe does well, and Europe is in trouble because of war and because of other issues, maybe mm, like even monetary policy is not as aggressive like the Fed. They are so like the interest rate, they're not hiking interest rate. So the money is not um, euro is not valued more in a way. So multiple factors. That's why dollar index is going up. So I think if the Europe does well, if the ECB does well, then index could go down, in my point of view. Okay, so it's very important. We always think that about the US, but this is equally important that Europe has to do well for index to go down, because it contributes 65% in the index. So people are not talking much about it, but I would like to highlight it. So if the euro gets stronger, it can bring down your dollar index. Anyway, so yields are going up for good, obvious reason, because Fed is planning to increase interest rates. So this pressure, it's not easy. But as I mentioned on BTC, despite of all this pressure, BTC is flat, so which is amazing. And this is bigger deal, which I mentioned, that when DXY goes down and BTC becomes 10%, is definitely uh a day of celebration. For me, when the DXY goes up, by 5.5% and BTC doesn't lose its value, it's a bigger event for me being a TA. Let me tell you, it may not be a big event for you because your focus is only gain. But for TA, when it holds the value, despite of this challenge, is a bigger deal than 10% pound. Anyways, so I'll stop my recording here and open for Q&A.